Well, we love talking with you about our ag commodity trade. I'm Marlon Bowling, your tour guide to the ag commodities, and I'm joined by Ted Seifried of Zaner Ag Hedge, and he's located in Chicago. He joins us right now. What an adventure it's been this week here, Ted. We had the hard sell-off in the grain markets yesterday, and now today they're trying to reclaim everything that they lost yesterday, although we're kind of fading a little bit. Let's look at a few prices here, and then I want to get your thought on what is driving it here. Let's look at corn. In the corn, we have July corn now 12 1/4 higher at 7.24. We were talking a little bit ago about the fact that it has been 17 and 19 higher or so. Right now, we're up about 12. We have December, though, 2.5 higher at 6.11 3/4. So back up above $6 after it kind of peaked down below it a little bit early in the day. Now on the soybeans, with our quotes provided by bar chart, July now 33 higher at 16.20.5. It's been that way much of the morning. And we have November new crop soybeans 15.5 higher at 14.29 3/4. Let's jump on over to the wheat right away and see what's going on there. Well, on wheat, you have the July contract in Chicago 11.5 higher at 7.42. And if you look at the Kansas City July market, here you're showing a gain of 8 1/4 cents. We're at 7.11 3/4. Spring wheat in Minneapolis is trading 14 3/4 higher on July. We're at 7.68. That would be 23 cents off our earlier low of the day. About a nickel, about 6 cents off of our earlier high. So how do you read the tea leaves when it comes to the market action today ahead of the big report coming up tomorrow? Did we just cancel out everything that happened yesterday or what?
Well, yeah, and it's only Tuesday, Marlon.
Yeah.
But yes and no as far as canceling things out. I mean, look, July soybeans weren't down very much yesterday, and they're the ones that are up 30 cents here today. It was the new crop corn and soybeans that were under pressure yesterday because of the better than expected rains over the weekend and because of the little bit warmer, little bit wetter forecast that we have longer term. This is more old crop leading the way higher as we get ready for our USDA WASDE report. And I think that's really a function of what you and I were talking about last Friday. As analysts put paper to pencil and come up with their balance sheets for this very, very important USDA WASDE report that we have tomorrow, it's kind of a reminder that, hey, look, this old crop soybean situation is as tight as can be. And then we look into new crop and say, oh, well, even with the fact that we're reducing demand some, we're still really, really very tight. And so I think soybeans I think we're all, as we release these estimates out into the world, I think people are reminded of the fact that the soybean balance sheet, both old crop and new crop, are really very tight. And so that, I think, is giving support to the soybeans. And in particular, that July soybean contract really looks good. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a very important report tomorrow. Tomorrow is a very important day for a number of reasons. But this report will be looking at old crop very closely. Normally, this time of year, we've kind of moved on beyond the old crop, and we really want to see what the USDA has on their first new crop on a WASDE balance sheet. Well, we will be looking forward to that too, but we will be looking at very closely at the old crop because of the tightness of the situation we have. We'll be looking very closely at South American production because of that second season safrinha corn crop in Brazil. And we'll be looking at the world balance sheets because we want to see if the USDA is doing anything as far as Chinese demand because of ASF. So lots of moving pieces tomorrow. And on top of that, the biggest thing might be whether Brazil gets rain or not, at least for corn. So a very, very big day tomorrow. There are so many different combinations of things that could happen. Bullish old crop, bearish new crop, or rain versus no rain. It should be a fairly wild day tomorrow, I think.
That it probably will. All right, Ted, we're going to take a break right here, then we'll come back and we'll look at the livestock trade. Might take a peek at the Dow, too. Big move going on there today. We'll see what the latest info is when we come back. We're back with Ted Seifried of Zaner Ag Hedge, and let's dive into this livestock trade. And Ted, one thing I wanted to do is mention this Dow Jones Industrial Average. We had such a big drop at mid-session here. It was down about, like 620 points or so. Right now we're down 490 at 34,178. And I've had some people kind of elbowing me a little bit saying, hey, is this giving equity investors the jitters that they're taking a second look at commodities now? What do you think about all that?
Well, I think everybody's just getting out of equities to get into, more lucrative investments like dog coin. That's been a real hot button topic here for the last couple of days. No, look, things can't go straight up. I don't know if this is really pushing people into commodity investment. I will say this: inflation has been at the top of everybody's minds here for the past few weeks, few months even. And so investors, your professional investors, are looking at commodities, i.e., things that if they were to drop them on their foot, they would say, ouch, because they're physical and tangible. They're looking at these things as a store of value, as a hedge against inflation. Corn has been a darling of that. Soybeans historically have been a darling of that. But look at like lumber, look at look at copper. Well, I'd even say, crude oil is maybe priced higher than it should be because of that too. Yes, inflation. It's a very real thing. Commodities as a whole are benefiting from that.
Well, let's look at the live cattle trade here right now. And a little bit ago, I mentioned the fact that our new beef cutout values that came out today, everybody's wondering, where is the top? Where is the top? We thought a couple days ago we had found the top when it kind of went flat for a day. Well, this is what we had today on the mid-morning update. Choice cuts up again by $2.84 at $311.95. Selects up $2.59 at $296.35. In the live cattle trade, in fact, this entire cattle complex on the futures board, it's kind of surprising at the strength we have today. Look at the August, up $1.50 now at 121.85. October up $1.50. Feeder cattle trade today. It has been coming back strongly. We have April now 15 cents higher. It's at 148.85. Now you say 15 cents. Well, that's no big deal. Well, I mean, we're off of our earlier low by $1.30 now, so it does have that going for it. And on the lean hog trade, currently you have the lean hog still lower, June down $1.15 at 110.95. Are the investors pulling some of the money out of the hog market now and putting it into the cattle today?
A little bit of profit taking the hogs is just sort of natural. I mean, it's been a strong bull market, and this is a very natural thing. We've held our key support. I still think we're going to see new highs in the hogs. And as far as the box beef, where's the end? I don't know. We've become very accustomed to the idea of inflation. People are paying up for things. People are paying up for cars. They're paying up for watches. They're paying up for steaks. They'll pay an extra $2, $3 for a steak. I think the consumer is now sort of not immune to inflation, but realizes it's happening and figuring, okay, this is just the world we live in right now. So I don't think there's an end in sight for that. I do think there's more upside potential in the cattle. I do think there's more upside potential in box beef prices. We need to see cash cattle trade higher, Packers. But other than that, yes, I think the climate is there to see higher cattle trade, see higher hogs trade. Look at the feeders actually higher on the day, despite all the strength that we're seeing.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We did have some cash cattle trade in Nebraska that brought 191 today, so they're starting to get some cash cattle activity. Ted, great to visit with you. Thank you so much. We'll talk with you on the evening news tonight, too. Ted Seifried of Zaner Ag Hedge. Tammy, back to you.